Hi, hello viewers. Welcome to the Project 78. And this time we are going to meet a very special person. His name is Sachin Kuberkar. We studied together in National Institute of Technology. That time it used to be known as KREC Suratkal. In the year of 2001, we have graduated together. But later on, as everybody's life goes on, Sachin took a different path. I took a different path. Sachin then started working. He worked for Infosys for approximately 17 years. And then he also, his study, the interest has continued. And then he went on doing his MBA as well as the PhD programs. So we'll meet, we'll see how is the life journey, and we'll learn a little bit from Sachin Kuberkar. So, Sachin, welcome to the show. How
Thank
are
you,
you
sir.
doing, Sachin?
Yeah, I'm doing well.
Well,
How are you?
I'm perfect. Fantastic. Thanks for asking, Sachin.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that you could find time and join so that we can have exchange some information and learn a little bit with each other.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's my pleasure and happy to be on your podcast.
Thanks a lot, Sachin. So Sachin, today, we will focus a little bit on your life a little bit, and then afterwards we'll also focus what you're currently doing, the AI stuff,
Sure.
which is much more interesting. For you, what are the main learnings you have, because you have gone through various phases, study wise as well and work wise as well. So now this is a question for any newcomer: what exactly that person should basically focus in their life to be successful?
So, yeah, good question, Pradeep. Probably we started career at the same time, and before I answer what students can do with their career, let me share a little bit of background of myself. So I'm currently co-founder of emerging technology company named as NxTechWorks, and we work mainly on
Mhm.
customized data and AI solutions for our clients. So that's my current profession. Prior to that, I've spent almost 2 decades in IT industry. I started my career during dot-com bubble, and then started as a software trainee engineer, moved on to various roles such as technology lead, project manager, program manager, and then emerging technology researcher. So I got an opportunity to work for various clients and domains during this period. I worked for logistics, big companies, banks, payment companies, so and so forth. So experience wise, it was a good, very different domain experience. And for about last 9 to 10 years, I am into technology research. So looking into next horizon technologies such as AI, blockchain, IoT. So in fact, I got an opportunity to set up a blockchain center of excellence at Infosys. And then I moved on to work for another company for their emerging technology division. So that's my short career summary. And as you mentioned, right, from education point of view, I received my PhD in technology adoption. I did my MBA in marketing from Pune University, and then prior to that, of course, I did my engineering in electronics and communication from NIT. So currently, I'm living in Pune. So Maharashtra state in India is my native place, and I'm staying currently with my family, including my parents, wife, and kids. So that's my brief background. Now, for students or people, I think who are starting their career, right?
Yes.
I will suggest, they should work on their passion areas because there are so many problems to select from. So, if you take a example of urban setting or social issues or even for industrial what you say settings, there is no what you say shortage of problems, and person should select an area, I think, where passion lies. So my passion is always with the technology, so I continued in that direction. Even though briefly I tried to do few other things, but I continued my technology passion, and that's how I am now able to run a company in the emerging technology area. So I will suggest, yeah, stick to your passion, stick to the basics, and see how you can work on different problem areas or opportunities.
Yes, Sachin, I agree. The passion is something where you eventually you will give more effort, but you will not feel like you are giving so much of effort. If you don't like the work, even 1 minute spending there becomes or feels like one day or one decade. But if it is passionate, if the work is passionate, then definitely you spend 1 year or one decade. It feels like just yesterday you started with that.
You're
So
right.
that's the difference, actually. So I really love your this point on the passion. Sachin, you mentioned about your company. So what type of like services you provide in this company? I
So
eager to
we
know.
have a basket of services mainly revolving around data and AI space, because that's what currently everyone is looking at. Earlier, the offerings mainly were related to IT services, if you see, initially in the 2000 era. And then last decade saw emergence of AI and data technologies. I think AI has now reached to a point where it can be used by various commercial organizations as well as individuals. So we kept our company's theme around data and AI, and that's how we are going to move forward. Now we work with different types of data, right? So be it structured data, unstructured data. To keep it simple, structured data is nothing but a tabular or Excel type of data where you have rows and columns, and you have lots of that data, and you want to find patterns, insights out of it. And unstructured data is something like the conversation that we are doing, right? Or textual data, images, videos, so on and so forth. So there are different types of data
Mhm.
that is there with enterprises or individuals, and we are trying to solve problems or issues that companies are facing with respect to their data management, or finding patterns out of it, or finding insights out of it. So
Mhm.
if I want to kind of summarize our basket of offerings, they relate to structured data, unstructured data. Within unstructured data, we process what you call as scanned images or paper documents, where we extract data from those documents through AI. It is not possible currently to do without AI, right? When you scan, it becomes image, and then you cannot search what is there within the image. So with the help of AI, we are able to do that. So we have offering around that to manage document workflow for companies if they
Mhm.
are dealing with physical papers. Another interesting offering that we have with respect to vision, or we can say computer vision, where we can process live streamed video, what you say, feed, and then detect automatically what kind of objects that are seen in the video. So, be
Oh.
it animals or vehicles, humans, right? And so the use cases are vast there. So it can also be used
Mhm.
to detect some hazards like fire and smoke. So we are working with one of our client as we speak to detect fire in a particular environment, right? Because early the detection happens, the lesser is the damage. So computer vision is another offering. And recently, with the emergence of Gen AI, we have also started exploring how we can help our clients with Gen AI offerings. So, using the large language models, how we can solve some of our customer problem. So that is another offering that we are coming up. So yeah, structured data, unstructured data, images, video, so and
Mhm.
so forth. And that's what our key offerings are as of now.
So Sachin, tell me. I think I remember somewhere 2 years ago, I had a need to convert the data from PDF. Basically, I had a lot of phone numbers and the people name, and then I wanted to pull that information into my CRM database.
Okay.
Yeah. So then I thought, okay, what should I do? And this was in a paper format. So basically, we had to convert that first into image, and then from that image to a file which can actually read. Yeah, from that image, it can convert into those numbers
Right.
and alphabets and place them accordingly sequentially without. any error so that I can pull it into my CRM DB. So is this something which makes sense here?
Of course.
That's
So
what they're doing.
yeah, so good candidates for OCR, optical character recognition. So the technology has evolved now to a level where we can extract the tabular data and then export it into an Excel format, which is a editable version that you get. So and then you can do
Uh-huh.
search on that data, organize that data, put it into your other system. So if you have documents such as those where you take those documents, process it through AI engine, and then export that data to your CRM system or any other system that is of interest. So that's possible now, very much. Yeah.
Okay. So Sachin, but then if I'm just a retail user, I don't have much of the stuffs, like maybe maximum in the year 100 pages, 50 pages, probably, if I want to scan and keep it on, then will this AI make sense for me, or when at what level this becomes more, I mean, for even the retail users, or it just makes sense for the
So we
business
have
users?
SaaS offerings where we have software as a service, where we are kind of giving these facilities to retail users as well. And it will be on subscription basis where you will have to pay as per your use, and that way it is going to help retail users as well. So if you have a limited set of important papers, you can still go ahead and use these tools that will help you. So I will strongly suggest you can try out our tools or similar any other tool in the market, which will not be an overhead per se. And if you are a medium or a large enterprise, in that case, we have a separate offering depending on the volume of papers you have.
Yeah, there is one more case. No, what happened? You won't believe, it's Germany, but still, around a month ago, somebody break into my car somehow.
Okay.
It was locked, and there was no. It was keyless entry, but somehow something they did with the computer and something like that, and then somehow they get into my car. And then I was thinking, oh my god, I lost a little bit of money, and they fortunately they did not take away all the important papers from the car. They just took some money, and that's it. But I got worried that somebody can come into car today, maybe other days they can come into my home. Who knows, when I'm not there, only my family or my kids are here, then scary situation, right?
Indeed.
So I was just thinking that maybe I should have some kind of video cameras as well installed. But then it's not that easy here, here Germany. I mean, I need to take permission from all my neighbors. And then only when they have given me written permission, then only I can do those installations. When you were mentioning about those video feed and then analyzing the stuff, I mean, I can relate here, because I mean, I would like to know that okay, these people are my neighbors, no alarm. But there is somebody else who is coming in the building and maybe doing some stuff, or maybe in my car, then I should get an intimation or some kind of notification. Yeah. What is your offering in this
Yeah,
respect?
so there are two aspects to it. One is something called as face recognition, where you recognize the face that is detected in the camera, and that
Hmm.
has to be as per the laws of the land. So if there is a what you say permission procedure that you have to go through, that
Hmm.
we will have to still go through if we try to implement such thing. So you take a database of your neighbors consent as well as photo, and when they are detected in camera, nothing will happen. And when any stranger detected at particular time, right? So you might
Yeah.
be
Oh, okay.
interested in a particular time frame that you should get alert. Those kind of rules can be implemented in such scenarios, and you will only get alert when that anomaly happens. So of course, so we have to abide by the local laws and find out a way to implement such thing. Typically we try to, what you say, record or find those kind of objects where there is more hazard to it, like leakage, oil leakage, or
Oh
fire,
yes.
and so
Mm.
and so forth. With respect to person, I think we will have to depend on the laws of the country and then only proceed with that, implementing that use case.
Okay. Yeah, so I understood that. I mean, initially the solution will keep on learning that these are white cases, these are black. I mean, these are not really, I mean, white and black in sense of color of skin, but basically, I mean, these are the
Yeah,
neighbors and the other people are not
correct.
neighbors. So initially, probably I need to keep the feedback also to the solution that, okay, no, this is this is a
That's an
neighbor like
important
that.
point. Yeah. So all the AI
Yeah.
solutions learn from the data that you provide, and there is an option
Hmm.
always to retrain the algorithms or AI models, so that if new people are added to your database, the AI model accordingly takes action. So it learns. Consider
Hmm.
any AI model as a, what you say, a kid or a person who is constantly learning something, right? As you tell them,
Hmm.
and they are instructed to do something, which, assuming that you have some assistant, human assistant, and you tell them some instructions, right? And then they will inform you based on that. So something similar we are doing here, and all the training, retraining happens based on the data that we provide.
So is this also called supervised learning?
Yes. So we are going little into technicalities, but yes. So this is called as supervised learning, where we supervise the AI training process, like what is right, what is wrong, and then AI gets trained on that kind of activities. And there is
Hmm.
something called an unsupervised, but there are separate use cases of that, where
Of that.
you have a huge data and you want to kind of segregate similar data into one bucket. Newspaper
Okay.
newspaper classification is one classic case of unsupervised learning, where the AI model itself understands the pattern in the news articles and then categorizes which is political news, which is sports news, which is
Okay.
entertainment news. Yeah.
They form some kind of clusters
Yes.
of.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Good. 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 Well, I think this is becoming interesting because I would like to have some kind of solution.
Yeah. We can
Okay. Good.
we can work on that. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later on this. So, as far as this AI solution implementation is concerned for any business, now let's come to the business. Before we were like retail, me and you, but okay. Now, what kind of uh, what is the definition of successful implementation of an AI? I do not know actually. I mean, what will say whether it is successfully implemented or not, whether it is useful or not. What? How do we define that?
So we typically, when we work with our clients, we define success criteria beforehand, right? So for
Uh-huh.
each problem, there is a different success criteria. So if we take an example of one deployment that we have done, the problem was the client had almost 10 million pages from legacy office work,
Oh,
which they wanted to digitize. And
10
that
million.
was their goal, to digitize all the archive of papers. So when they scanned it, a new issue arised out of it. The pages had a lot of black dots or noise, they call it, right? Because the pages were old, torn out, the scanner was giving those black dots, which were like somewhere on the corner, sometimes in the middle, sometimes on the bottom side.
Spread
So
across. Hmm.
we kind of found that if we want to manually remove this, right, it's very difficult. Client tried to do that, but they said it's going to take much time. So can AI help us there? And we said
Mm-hmm.
AI will definitely be a potential solution with which we can try. And we then created a pilot or a POC for them, and we were
Mm-hmm.
almost able to remove 90% of the noise, because AI is not always going to give you 100% output. We agreed with client that we will be able to reach 90% of the, what you say, manual activity that noise reduction. And they said, okay, as long as you're going to help me with cost saving as well as time reduction, and you're going to give me almost 90% accurate results, we are happy with that.
Mm,
So success criteria will always depend on the use case, right? Sometimes even the
mm,
70% accuracy of AI model could be beneficial, right? So client might be okay with 30% inaccuracies, and as we retrain the model, as we collect data, that 70% will slowly move on above 90%. This typically happens, right, when you want to forecast some event, right? We had
yes.
one another client where we are implementing project risk dashboard, right? So there, initially, when we had similar project data and we were trying to forecast what would be the milestone for new projects that are starting, we were not getting good accuracy. But eventually, it increased from about 65% to more than 85% now. So again, there, if you see, we did not commit AI accuracy or success criteria in advance. So depending on the use case, Pradeep, we will have to define the success criteria of AI. And
Mm,
because AI is still kind of maturing, I will suggest there is always a need of human in the loop approach that any organization should take with their AI implementation. So if AI is giving you a warning, AI is detecting something, right? There is one person, someone who is responsible to manage that system. They should look at the output of AI once in a while, so that there is kind of check and balances on AI
mm.
output.
So what I understood in the second example is that you implemented a project
Yes,
dashboards kind of stuff,
yes,
and in that there was a requirement that when the new project is added
correct.
into the portfolio, then you were asked to forecast how this project will end, how much revenue, delays,
Yeah,
and
so
all
let
those
me
things.
talk
Yeah.
a bit detail about that. So this is a utility customer who is having 300 plus projects at any given point of time, and each project
Oh,
is
okay.
having more than 100 activities, right? So initially, when
Hmm.
project initiates, right, typically there are no risks and issues as such, because you know beforehand what is the budget and what is the effort required. But as the progress moves, let's say after 4 5 or 10 activities, then you start seeing those, what you say, pointers, whether this project is going to be completed on time, cost wise, quality wise. And there we are using this past data where similar projects, how they
Ah,
completed. And yeah, so
yeah.
if there were any red marks there, potentially this project may also face red marks if the activities
Hmm.
are not getting completed on time. So that is one
Hmm.
example. Second is, I mean, this is not related to projects, but it is related to diet plans or something like that. So when we are talking to a doctor, nutritionist here in India, they want to know if AI can help them forecast a diet plan based on the complaints that patient comes up with. So there
Hmm.
also we are using a machine learning algorithm where we are
Hmm.
matching the similar patient profile, and depending on the complaints and the lifestyle, AI is
Hmm.
helping us to a recommended diet plan, right?
Hmm.
So you see here in both these examples, we are using past data, be it projects or be it similar patient and data, that will help us forecast something or predict something, and that is helping even the experts to kind of validate their gut feeling, because now data is speaking rather than their gut feeling.
That means wherever I have data, I can most probably apply AI.
Yeah, but I will add a caution to that statement. The data
Hmm.
should be good, because we in AI world we call garbage in, garbage out. So your data has to
Hmm.
be in a proper format, and it should be as complete as much possible, right? So if you have very little data, then you might be okay not to implement AI till you have a
Hmm.
sizable data, right? So
Uh-huh.
that's one
Okay.
limitation, or I will say requirement when you are thinking about AI,
Well,
right?
hmm. So this leads me to the next question. Is that, I mean, see, I mean, okay, you are AI service provider. Okay. But let's look at from the business
Yeah,
perspective. Now, what these business people they must consider while choosing AI service provider for their business problem to solve the business problem.
that's a good question, Pradeep. And we keep getting such questions from our prospective clients, not directly but indirectly. So, what they are typically looking at before selecting any vendor is three things, I will say: skills, past experience or case studies, and third will be the cost effectiveness of the proposed solution. So
Hmm.
skills or knowledge of the team, right? So they want to know how the team is formed and how much experience the team has in terms of AI implementations, right? So that is one thing. Second is, of course, how many similar AI implementation the team has done in their industry or domain. And third is, of course, as I said, whether the solution is cost effective or not. And for that, what we are doing is we are constantly skilling our team with the new developments that are happening. And I'll say AI is one such technical area where every week you see a new development, right? So we have to keep abreast with all the latest happenings and understand its impact on the past learning that we had. So we try to kind of be with whatever latest developments that are happening, right? Just by joining different online courses, reading different blogs from the experts, and then also, of course, attending conferences or even watching some discussions on YouTube with respect to latest development. So that is how we are kind of keeping ourselves updated. And as I said, this is a fast moving world, so we keep on experimenting ourselves. We create mock data, we try to find patterns in that, and then we suggest our prospective clients that this is possible through our blogs, through our outreach. And they also kind of understand it's their learning process as well, like what different vendors are doing. And so
Mhm.
so as I said, skills and experience, and third is of course cost. Being in India, we are much more cost competitive compared to other parts of the world, so that advantage comes to us naturally. But yes, yeah,
Yeah.
so what I have seen is that customers are trying to look at all these three aspects while selecting the AI vendor.
So that means you basically educate. If a business does not know, then you or the service provider have to educate the business because
Correct.
many times I will not know how AI is going to help me. I don't know
Right.
the application of AI. Then in that case, you educate.
Because every new technology comes up with a hype, right? So people think this new technology will solve all
Mm.
my problems, but in reality there are certain criteria before you apply a technology to a problem. So we have to constantly educate our clients by writing
Mhm.
blog articles, by publishing our research papers. So as I said, when we worked on those pages to clean the noise, right? We wrote a research paper that is published on the internet, and that is now accessible to anyone. Similarly, the other research that is happening, we refer to that. We try to implement that and create solutions that are potentially attractive to our clients.
Yeah, interesting, Sachin. So when you said earlier about every day or every week there is a new stuff related to AI in the market. So what exactly is happening? I mean, I thought like okay, AI is one stuff where you just put anything and then you get output. But what exactly is changing inside?
So, initially, if you look at the evolution of AI, it started when we were not there in this world. So, somewhere in 1956, right? A conference was where AI was coined, the term artificial intelligence, and researchers or academicians were kind of pursuing this topic because of the limitations in terms of computing data. The topic remained more or less theoretical in nature. Of course, there were few
Mm.
systems that were trying to mimic the human intelligence, and that's why the term artificial intelligence. But it was not up to the mark, right? So when the time came, so when around what you say late 2000 or early 2010s, we have seen what you say an explosive development by a world because of the improvement in the computing capabilities. So there
Oh
were
yes. Okay.
we had a lot of data because companies by that time had a lot of internet driven applications. People started using
Mm-hmm.
internet in much larger ways, so a lot of data was there, transactions were happening online. So from data point
Mm-hmm.
of view, you had a lot of data that was there on company servers. And from computing point of view also, the advanced graphical processing units were coming in the market. So they were speeding up the development of AI. So algorithms started coming up with much more efficiency and effectiveness. So all these
Okay.
three
Yeah.
things, if you bind together, that created an environment for AI to grow like anything. Now, what is happening with AI is initially the days were full of machine learning, where we had mainly solutions or algorithms that were dealing with structured data, linear regression, logistic regressions, that kind of problems. Now, as you know, the unstructured data, as I was talking earlier, they are big data. I mean, every
Yeah.
time you save image, it is in few megabytes, and when you want to process millions of such images, the data becomes very huge. So to
Yes.
handle those scenarios, you required advanced computing capabilities, and that's how both the algorithms and the hardware both were accelerating. And now what we are seeing is that because those base cities are now available in all large companies, we are seeing the
Mm-hmm.
emergence of what you say new mod or new way of solving the problem with a different algorithm. So I will say this acceleration in AI happened because of these events. And yeah, so we have to kind of, and another important point probably I missed is the open source nature of this entire ecosystem.
Ah. Okay. Mm.
So if you see Google and Meta, Amazons
Yes.
of the world, what they did is they did open their AI research to the world, and that really
Mm-hmm.
helped the developer ecosystem to build upon that, right? So the moment you have some algorithm that is just mentioned in the paper along with its implementation on GitHub, that
Yeah.
gave impetus to developers to develop new algorithm and come up with a new better implementation. So and
Okay.
because entire world is trying to now understand, you have every week there is something, some new news on AI. And yeah, that's how it is. So it will take some time to settle the dust, and only the good things probably will progress further.
Yeah. So you think that that time is coming soon?
Yeah, with I will say in another year or so, that time will come soon. You have a bit of matured AI implementations and maturity also in terms of algorithms and hardware. Uh,
Testing. So can I say it safely that those companies in future, if they are not using this advanced technology, they will be lagging behind, because there will be other companies from the same field, same industry, they will be using the AI, they will be like much progressive compared to the ones who are not using it.
you're absolutely right, Pradeep. So there will be companies that adopted AI, and they will grow like anything, and companies that are resistant to AI and considering it only as hype, potentially risking to remain behind. And that's pretty much, I think, everyone is talking about. So it is not only our opinion. So I will suggest viewers of this podcast to get a basic understanding of AI and start experimenting. And if you are kind of not able to do it on yourself, try to consult companies like us so that it will be much faster journey compared to your own experimentation.
Hmm. And this AI implementation or adaptation, I would say, is it like high level, only the leaders, or it should happen grassroots level throughout the company organization?
So yeah, so I will suggest a top-down approach because
Hmm.
I have seen when leaders take initiative to adopt a new technology, then there are typically no resistance from bottom side, right?
Uh-huh.
So business leaders need to understand at high level how things are going to change, how AI is
Mhm.
going to disrupt their industry, disrupt their product offerings, their service offerings. And then the bottom layer or the juniors in the company need to understand how exactly they can meet those changes or they can implement those
Mhm.
changes to meet the vision of the leaders.
Okay, yeah, yeah. So that is unavoidable.
Yes,
Every
correct, correct.
Those who are not going through it, they are falling behind,
Yes,
extinct kind of stuff.
yeah. I mean, you're seeing the what you say implementation of AI in all our daily life, right? So now
Yes,
emails, when you try to write 2 3 words, it will suggest the entire
right.
sentence.
Yeah. Hmm.
If you are planning to go on holiday, you just type the destination and it will recommend you so many different hotels based on your past purchase history. Of course, Amazon
Yeah.
is a big example where, based on the similar customer purchase history, you just type one product name and it will tell you 10 different products that you should buy to make
Hmm.
your what is a shopping experience great. So
Yep.
everywhere,
I
I mean,
happen.
uh,
Yeah.
and they are growing because
This.
of that, because if they don't recommend anything, right, it is highly possible that people will not go for additional what you say products or services, and that
Hmm.
experience is lacking in that sense, right? So,
Hmm.
and again, if you take again that example of email, a person has to think much more and focus on the language details and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
whatever earlier it used to take 15 or 20 minutes to draft an email, now it, because of AI, it is just taking 5 minutes, right?
True. Very
Yeah,
true. I've experienced and I use it on a daily basis.
correct.
Drafting an email, grammar
Right.
stuff, missing
Yeah.
attachments, even even the Google putting some emails into spam folder. That also saves my
Yeah.
money and sorry, time, and as well as you know risk as well associated
Correct.
with those spam emails. Other than that, if there is a long email, I just ask Gemini, okay, give me the
Summary
summary
of
of this
this. Yeah.
email. In 5 lines I get the summary instead of reading those 100 lines. Some people they write long emails.
Correct.
Still, yeah, same thing on the other side, the chat gpt side also. I use it heavily for drafting some copyrights and all. I do use it and it's really useful. Like I give some direction and then thereafter I start getting beautifully written good quality stuff from them. And then afterwards I also adjust, make it more personalized right
Correct.
afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's really a really good use case of this AI. Yeah. Although we will not get into the negative side of the AI. Let's not because that's also scary if
Yeah.
somebody wants to use.
Yeah.
In the end, it's the intention. I mean, the tool is there, and somebody wants to use it for good purpose or the bad purpose. It's the intention
You're right.
behind.
Yeah. So I think AI will require its own governance layer. So,
Mhm.
like the way we developed our earlier IT systems with set of governance rules, here also in AI, we will require some kind of that will safeguard the interest of users, and it should not be used for the other purpose or negative purpose. So, guardrails will be definitely required. Some changes to laws that will eventually happen. So, yeah, with the what you say invention or experimentation that is happening in driverless cars, right, which is one of the example of AI, where
Yes.
cameras are detecting what is there on the road and then directing vehicle where to go,
Hmm.
or at what speed it should go, or when to stop, right? So I think the laws are not yet clear in those cases, right? So yeah, governance will be required so that more and more people use it for a proper positive use cases.
Yes. This not very sure that what happens, whether those cars should be allowed first, if they're allowed, and if something bad happens while those vehicles are on the move, who is responsible in the end? Is the driver, or is the victim, or the company who have manufactured either the camera parts? And basically, who is, at the moment we have the rules which we can understand, okay, fine, here the driver is responsible, okay. Yeah, but in those cases, who will be responsible, who will be
Yeah, I
held?
mean, that's going to be interesting. And in the AI world, we called the terminology that is specific to this is called as FATE, FATE. So every
Hmm.
AI algorithm or system should undergo a FATE assessment, where F stands for
Hmm.
fairness, A stands for accountability, T stands for transparency, and E stands for explainability. So whatever you're implementing,
Hmm.
right, it should be fair. It should be, someone should be accountable to that system outcome. The system should be as transparent as possible in terms of how the data was collected, how the models were trained, and explainable. So the outcomes, sometimes people are not very clear why AI has sometimes given green signal for
Hmm.
something or red signal for
Hmm.
something. So that explainability should be built into AI system as much as possible. We know that sometimes it is not possible, but yeah, wherever it is required, it has to be claimed
Yeah.
here.
Hmm. Right. So coming back to this companies now, for example, if I take your services, yeah, I maybe as a business user, I then what kind of support and training I can expect from your or any other AI companies, service providers?
Yeah. So whenever we start with any AI discussion, we first discuss about data because that's the backbone of AI. So
Mm-hmm.
we explain and understand data acquisition part, where how we will
Mm-hmm.
collect data for the eventual AI implementation. So we talk, discuss, and train how data will be used for the AI system, how the training will happen, how the retraining will happen. That we clearly inform to our client. And then we also discuss about how, what different algorithms that we are using, even though they are technical in nature, but we discuss about those points like how accurate the readings are, so
Mm-hmm.
that when you are believing on the outcome, you know it is 70% possible, or
Mm-hmm.
you know it is
Mm-hmm.
90% possible. So we also give those kind metrics along with the outcome, right? So that also helps user to how much they can believe on the outcome.
Got it.
Right. So,
Okay.
and the final point about AI training is that, as I said earlier, we keep on discussing or training new onboarded users, right? Because sometimes when people leave, that knowledge is gone. So we keep on discussing or training new people when they start using AI system.
Okay. So you train the business side as
Yes,
well, so that they can continue making good use of the implemented solution.
correct,
Oh, okay. So, yeah, of course, you have already said that companies should train their resources as well
correct.
on the AI
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, they should know what, basically, what is the data, what is the outcome, and what are the shortfalls they may
Exactly,
expect there.
exactly, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, good point. Yeah. Hmm. So, is this AI solutions, whatever is developed, is this scalable, or is there is any restriction that, okay, if I get maybe 1 GB of data, I can process maybe 50 GB of data, but not the terabyte of data. Is there something like that? I mean, so maybe tell me more about the scalability.
Again, AI is compute hungry. Okay, so what we are trying, if you know, we are basically trying to implement human intelligence, right?
Hmm.
And God has created us in such a way that we don't realize that we have such a intelligence in our small brain. But to mimic that
Hmm.
artificially, it requires a lot of resources. So when you're talking about few megabytes of data, your CPU or your local laptop might be able to process and deliver you AI results, or those algorithms will be able to run smoothly on that. The moment you are talking about gigabytes and terabytes, you're talking of different scale here, and you require kind of separate compute environment where multiple graphical processing unit, which is like 100 times or 1000 times better than a CPU, to process that incoming data and give you output within that stipulated time. So just to give you an analogy, a machine learning model that you're training on your local few kilobytes or megabytes of data will have no issues. And when you're trying to do something similar, a large language model implementation, your machine will crash because
Ah,
the way it
okay.
has been implemented, you will require very high-end GPUs or a set of GPUs to process in such a way that it can handle that load and give you the output. So
Hmm.
so, according to the data and the needs, your requirement of AI solutions will vary. And as I said earlier, for our computer vision implementation that we are doing, we have implemented it in a specialized GPU hardware where we are processing continuous stream of almost 30 cameras, right? So every
Uh-huh.
second we are processing 30 frames, and it is large data. So basically you will require a good amount of hardware, the memory where you are storing, processing the
Hmm.
data, and of course the
Hmm.
network bandwidth. So you should have a high bandwidth network. So it is scalable, so there is no issue with that, but of course the investment is required. But not every person or every organization will need such huge infrastructure requirements. So there are APIs, AI APIs that are provided by top cloud providers such as Azure, Google, and AWS. So what we can
Hmm.
do is we can use their AI APIs, right? Because behind the scene they have all the infrastructure ready. So we
Hmm.
just have to
Okay.
give them the input, and they will give us the output, right? So that is another way to implement AI, which is much simpler.
Okay.
Of course, there are different pricing models, but yeah, depending on the use case and your usage, we can come up with the right strategy to implement AI. Whether you want to go with in-house or whether you want to kind of take the help of cloud provider services.
Well, makes sense. So when we are talking about such, I mean, solutions at a little bit bigger scale, that means the use case should be also big,
Correct.
right? I'm coming to the point of ROI. So, I mean, are every AI solutions ROI friendly, or or there are failures as well as there are, like, success case also?
A good question again. So, when you say ROI, we typically find our customers trying to reduce cost, reduce time, or improve go to market, right, capabilities, or meet their compliance needs.
Hmm.
So, as I said, it could be cost, schedule, quality, or compliance. Those are the typical measures on which every system, not only AI, are getting measured. And when discuss the use case with client, we go with
Hmm.
a certain approach. So we have a 3P approach where we do POC, right, proof of concept, then we go with pilot, and then production. So with
Oh.
this approach, right, this helps a lot. to reduce risk of cost investment. So you
Mm-hmm.
come up with a potential key concept validation that we validate during POC, which is generally short duration, 3 weeks to 4 weeks, with minimal
Mm-hmm.
cost, right? With simulated data. So you know that solution is going to be possible, feasible, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
you move to pilot scenario where you select something production like scenario, but a limited users, right? There
Okay.
again you have limited investment and you test it out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And once you find that most of the users are finding it useful, you're able to constrain cost, improve your GTM, and also comply with the regulations. Then you decide whether you want to go ahead with global rollout, right? So that's the way
Mm.
we suggest for any AI implementations, and that's how AI ROI will be realized.
Okay. Okay. But is it not like too long? First, I do the POC pilot and then
It
production.
is indeed, but this is mostly suggested approach for AI
So it's
implementations,
great. Okay.
because as I said, it is still nascent days for maturity of AI systems,
Mm-hmm.
and you want to be extra cautious there before you do a global rollout, right? Because there are a few famous examples where big companies have rolled out AI solutions and they had to take it back within few days because AI started
Okay.
behaving very differently, and
Oh my
that
God.
creates a
Okay.
brand problem, brand issues, and that's
So why?
impact. Yeah,
Okay. So you mean when they went ahead like full blown implementation? So you suggest that do it in a like a small
phase wise manner.
slice
Yeah,
for few users
correct,
and look at the results. Okay, that's also a good point, Sachin. So Sachin, you said in the beginning of the call that your company is in Pune, right?
correct,
And you have a team of people, and you're training the people
correct,
as well as
correct,
right. Oh, okay. You train the business side. You train your internal staff as well, your resources,
correct,
employees,
correct,
and then get the projects done,
correct.
right? So if somebody has to reach out to you, then they can freely connect with you, and like we can leave your connection details
Sure.
along
So
with
we
this.
have our presence on internet. I'll
Hmm.
provide you the portal. Our LinkedIn
Yeah.
connects, our contact numbers. We have presence on different social media. So yeah, we get queries from different sources, and we'll be happy if some of our podcast viewers they want to experiment with AI or discuss their AI requirement. We'll be more than happy
Hmm.
to reach out to them. So yeah,
That's good. That's very, very good. Sachin, it was really wonderful. I mean, I learned a lot in this last 60 minutes. Thank you very much for sharing your those valuable information. Definitely in different places, my company or different other businesses, they would like to implement the AI, then I would prefer or I would kind of recommend your business to them in future. And let's see what we can do with the problem which I had with my car stuff later on separately.
sure, sure.
Thank you very much. I'm Sachin. Yeah,
Thank you, Pradeep. Thanks for inviting me to your podcast. So
my
happy to
pleasure.
be here. And yeah, we'll solve your problem as well as many others. Yeah,
Yeah, and next time when we meet, I think we can also discuss more in detail because this was more of a basic knowledge session for me. But let's next time, I think we can deep dive into one of the solutions which you have implemented successfully and you love that solution the
definitely.
most.
Yeah, yeah. We'll be more than
Yeah,
happy to it. Looking forward for our second
yeah,
discussions. Yeah.
that's great. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. I hope you liked it. So at the moment, I'm signing off and stay in touch. Leave your comments below. Until next time, take care. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.